global audience with a focus on resilience, inclusive leadership, and human-centered innovation. So happy that her presentation is about delivering value with AI, what changes in your team, and what doesn't, of course. Hello and welcome, Stella.
Thank you very much. Super excited to be here and just want to confirm that you can see my screen.
I will stop the sharing and now let's see yours.
Let's try that again.
Yes,
1 second.
sure. Uh, Delivering value with AI, great, all good.
Wonderful. Okay, I can't see it on here, but I want to believe that it's visible. Well, hello everyone. Well, happy Saturday and good afternoon from Atlanta, Georgia. I joined this call as early as 4 a.m. my time this morning because I didn't want to miss all the wonderful presentation. So kudos to the organizing team. It is not easy to bring together experts like this and keep us thinking, learning, because continuous learning is such a key part of what we do as agile practitioners and agilists. And so I'm hearing the different, perspectives. Someone always says that agile is everyone has their own opinion about agility. And I've seen that here, right? And so I think that's just what makes us really empowering and very insightful, really, at what we do. So again, thank you for having me on here. So just to get started, when we think about or talk about AI, most discussions around AI in software delivery or any form of delivery typically focuses on the tools. And so we think about which tools are we trying to adopt, which ones do we want to avoid, which tools are we saying are legacy, which ones do we want to sunset, which tools do we want to adopt as part of our transformation, how do we configure them, and how then do we train our teams on them, right? But what I'm observing is that even inside organization, there's something that's definitely different. And that is, of course, and I'm sure you can all relate to, which is AI is not just changing how work gets produced, it's also revealing the weaknesses that we have in our delivery systems and in our delivery organizations. And so we think about it, how velocity looks wonderful, it looks better, and throughput looks higher. But the question really is, and the question we should be asking ourselves is, are we actually delivering more value? Or are we simply producing more artifacts and just faster? And that's what really this conversation is about, is delivering value with AI, what is changing in our sprint and what is not changing in our sprint. All right, so moving on to the next slide. Most conversations, about AI, like I said, when it comes to delivery again, is what exactly are we delivering? What is the goal behind the AI tools that we're using? Because of the fact that if you think about it, things have changed and things have evolved so quickly. First of all, our developers are using different IT tools, different, tools like Cursor, Copilot. I mean, even when it comes to our testers or QA, like the automation is so exponential at this point in time. And we can definitely not say that our sprint has not changed. I'm looking at my slide. It says it has changed, but for some reason, it is not letting me. I think there's something going wrong. Just give me a moment. I'm going to reshare my slide again. There's something
Yes,
off with this slide. Technology, that's all I can say. Just technology. Give me a moment.
it's okay. Don't worry. It's something normal, I think, in the online events.
Presentations, yes.
Yes.
All right, we're going to do this again. 1 second. Here we go. All right, let's go ahead and present. All right, so I think we should be good. You can see the slide now, correct?
Yes.
Yes. All right, wonderful. So when we think about just organizations and how organizations are leveraging AI tools at this point in time, I was talking about how even the process of delivery has evolved, has become automated, right? We have our developers, like I mentioned, using Copilot, using Cursor. We have our product managers or product owners literally writing user stories through either ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever tools that the organizations have given them access literally to. We have our testers or quality engineers who literally that process is now automated. And going back to the use of statistics, right? We talked about how by 2026, literally 80% of software testing is expected to use AI augmented tools to improve coverage, to improve quality, and we can literally keep going on around this. But the issue here is the measurement hasn't changed. The sprint has already changed, but the measurement hasn't changed. And our definition of done also hasn't changed. And the leadership interpretation of what this number represents also hasn't changed. And this is where the problems begin. And so I'm saying this, really matter of fact here, which is when a system is changing faster than its governance, you should definitely expect distortions. You should definitely expect dysfunction. And that's what actually AI is revealing right now is that indeed that our systems are not changing, our governance is not changing, but the technology is changing in rapid speed. All right, I want to give you a lens before we go further. And this is where I'm saying here, which is connecting everyone back to this one slide, right? That AI is not just a productivity tool. It's really a revealer of, I would say, system weaknesses, right? Or delivery weaknesses. And what we've assumed was that AI would accelerate delivery, right? Teams to produce more and leaders, would see success faster. And some of these things are actually true. But here's also what is happening underneath all of this, which is it is exposing output bias that has always existed. Is exposing that our metrics have always been fragile. And it's also exposing accountability gaps that no one has really taken responsibility for. And all of these things I've mentioned so far, if we're really honest and think about our environment and our systems, they're not new. These are not new problems, right? AI just simply turned up and increased the volume of the problems that we are already all dealing with. And this is the lens of what I want to really anchor the rest of my conversation around today. That these things are not new issues, they're not new problems, they've always been there. But then AI is coming to the picture and said, well, voila, I'm going to amplify exactly what either we haven't taken responsibility for. And these are the things that we are seeing right now. So I'm going to walk through a couple of distortions in the next slides. But I want you to notice something as I go through each of this, right? I'm going to be focusing on three main ones. That again, that none of these are new problems. So there are existing weaknesses. If we think about output bias, if we think about just the fragility of metrics, and we think about just the gaps in accountability, these are just the things that AI has amplified. And let's go over each one of this one after the other. And this is the first distortion. And let me tell you, right? This one was happening way long before AI actually showed up into the picture. But you see, AI dramatically increased our capacity to produce. Our teams can produce more code. They can, produce more iterations of something, of a software, whatever that is. We have more documentation. Things are no longer as manual as they should be. But value has never and should never have been defined by output, right? Value depends on something actually getting to the hands of the customer. And we're being able to ask questions like, what did the customer experience? Did this improve their, satisfaction degree? Like I heard in someone else's presentation, what is the what behind what we have delivered? And we can definitely say that AI is a production accelerator, but it's definitely not where we say it is our value discovery engine. And I think that's where a lot of companies and teams are actually having this challenge. If you look at the not equals to sign in my slide, right? And what AI is revealing here is that output bias, right, is what a lot of organizations have always had. So more artifacts look like progress long before even AI got into the picture. AI just made that illusion look really great right now and faster. So if you think about it, if your teams are already confusing throughput with value, what AI has literally just done is, well, we can increase this number and everyone thinks that value is being delivered, but that is not the case. So the first discussion here is output looks like progress, but really that is not the definition of progress. The second distortion I want to anchor on a little bit here is around just, velocity. Velocity is, it depends on what side of the table you're on. It could be your best friend, it could be your worst friend, or you just really have no care for it, right? I want to put you into a sprint planning session that I had recently. And this team is, estimating this body of work. And someone just said, I can do this in 20 minutes with Cursor. And everyone is like, what, what does that even mean? And the room is quiet because nobody knows what to do with that, right? Is it still a 5-story point? Is it a 1? Is it like, what exactly are we doing with that? Do we even use points anymore? And here's what's happening. Velocity was originally intended, right, as a planning tool. Again, everyone has their own definition of this, so just follow me up, just follow me here. It was originally decided as a planning tool, but over time, many organizations have used it to almost like a way where we estimate what we want to make firm decisions on, or they've used it as a tool to determine, how many people can be brought into a team. They've used it as a firm tool, to determine if a team is high performing for whatever that definition of that word means to that organization. And now AI has exposed the fragility of that. A task that used to take 8 hours now is taking 30 minutes. So points are not necessarily, reflecting efforts anymore. Even historical velocity is almost invalid because what are we actually measuring? And so we think about it, the second discussion here is AI didn't bring velocity. Velocity was always broken in some way, shape, or form. It just revealed that that metric in itself was already fragile. And so the shift we should be making here is that we should stop measuring effort and start measuring outcomes. All right, so the third distortion I want to talk about here, which I think is the most quiet and one that sometimes worries me a little bit of the most, is when we look at AI generated output. It's clean, it looks polished, all of those things. The documentation reads well, we have the dashes, we have all of these things going on, the tests are passing, but is clean really the same thing as correct? And it's polished does it mean that somebody actually is accountable for the work that has been delivered, right? And here's where the accountability gap comes into play, because when a tool produces something impressive, people automatically, right, assume that the system validated it. But the system didn't validate it. It's a system. And so here are 4 questions that I want to leave with you, and I want you to take that back to your team as you're thinking about definition of done and how do we even evolve that in the age of AI. Is number 1, who reviewed the AI output? Not who ran it, but like who reviewed it? Who actually reviewed it? Second one is the code that was generated, is it understandable? Can someone explain the code without actually running it? The third one is it also maintainable? Do you know how the amount of tech debt that we are literally incurring right now? Is that code maintainable? So did AI write something that was so elegant and it reads so great, but nobody can touch it in 6 months? And the last but not the least is the hallucination. Did someone catch it? Do we know if it has embedded that as part of the code that has been generated or the code base? And so now the new rule here is AI generates work, but we own the outcome. Humans have to own the outcome. And I've heard, through some presentations about human in the loop, human judgment, all of those things. Humans need to own that outcome. These are the 4 questions that I want you to take back to your team as we're thinking about what does the definition of done really mean for us now in the age of AI. I want to pause here before I talk about what we can do and things of that nature, is because I think this is very important, right? Again, we're agreeing that AI did not create these outcomes, right? Output bias existed way before AI. Accountability gaps existed before AI. Metric fragility existed way before AI. AI is just simply amplifying the system that it has entered. That's it. AI is amplifying the system that's entered. So your delivery system is healthy, strong feedback loops, clear accountability, outcome-based measurement, AI will amplify that. But if your system has weaknesses, AI would also amplify that as well. So I want to add this here, which is the existence of these challenges or weaknesses, right? To me, I see them more as opportunity for growth because transformation has no end. So the real question here isn't about, oh my goodness, is our system broken? It really is, what are the opportunities of growth that we can lean into and continue to go on our journey of transformation? So the question here, again, isn't about how can we use AI better, is how healthy is our system that AI just entered and how can we make it healthier? And this is not a question for tooling. It's not a tooling question. It is really a leadership question. Like how healthy is the system that AI just entered and how can we make it healthier? So let me name the things that changed in our sprints, right? Going back to the core of my conversation and my presentation today. What has changed in our sprint? 4 things have changed, right? The task execution speed. We already know AI is handling that faster. It is handling the how faster. Number 2, how artifacts are being produced, like the speed that is being produced. We have fewer review summaries. You don't if I give an example, at the end of sprint reviews, I don't need to figure exactly who said what was delivered. I can literally just leverage my notebook LM, tell me, write this out for me in an executive summary, the business value, what is connected to in terms of the strategic goal, and I'm having something done in less than the amount of time that I would use, right? So artifacts are produced in record time, depending on how you prompt, of course, and how you leverage the tools that you have in existence. Then estimation accuracy. accuracy, right? Story points are not necessarily reflecting on estimation effort as much because most people are leveraging AI in their workflow as well. And then team workflow. So people are now collaborating alongside AI, not just with one another, but AI is also part of their collaboration, network. So these changes are real. I'm not saying they're not. They're absolutely real and they should be acknowledged and they should matter, actually. But here's the boundary that I want to add is AI should become that collaborator in the sprint. It does not replace the product owner. It does not replace either the product manager. It cannot tell you what is worth building. It cannot replace a customer conversation. It cannot replace a customer feedback. And I think it's very important that we keep that distinction clear, especially when leaders are beginning to have conversation around should we have this number of people in a team or what does the customer need? It's very important that we leverage AI as a collaborator versus one that is determining what we think is valuable to the customer and speaking on behalf of the customer. So this is what I want to definitely highlight as things that have actually changed. So now, this is the hardest part and the hardest truth I want to also lean on to here. And I want to speak directly to the leaders, right, in the room. Leaders, coaches, this one is for you. The real challenge, again, like I said, not the tools, right? The real challenge is the decisions that get made by leaders when dashboards look great. I have seen this happen, and I'm not even being hypothetical. I've sat in a room where this exact thing happened, where the dashboard looks great, leaders see that velocity has gone up, and they conclude, well, we need less people, we need fewer people. How did we get to that conclusion? Now, think about that sentence. Delivery velocity went up because estimation perhaps went down, right? Not because value delivery increased. Not because the team is, doing things differently, but just because of the fact that they're leveraging AI. So these are three better questions that I want leaders and organizations to begin to ask as well is, when you look at a dashboard, right? Because again, your interpretation of data is only as good as how you interpret the data, and everything is really based on perception. So how about we ask ourselves these questions, which would be, are we measuring value or are we just measuring speed? Are our teams still learning from customers? Who exactly is the voice of the customer here? And also, are we maintaining engineering integrity? Because if we cannot answer this question, right, then our measurement system needs to change before we even think about changing our headcount. We can't go to the people first without really looking inwards. And I'm going to say that again. If we cannot answer this question, then our measurement system, our understanding of value needs to change before we change the headcount. Everything I've described so far is about what is shifting, right? I also want to pause here, talk about what should not move, like what should not change. 3 principles, very non-negotiable. Number 1, customer feedback over internal assumptions. AI can generate answers fast. It can see patterns. It can give us flows. It can do amazing, wonderful things. It can bubble up, highlights. It can consume a huge amount of data sets and give us things that are really, pristine that we need, right, in rapid speed. But it cannot replace the customer voice. So customer feedback over internal assumptions. The second one is cross-functional collaboration. And this is what I'm seeing quietly happen, is that individuals are now disappearing into their own AI bubble. Many people are creating the same AI tools and AI strategies and AI workflows in different silos as opposed to collaboration. And so this is something that needs to not change at all. There's no point of us creating the same version for the same problem. It means that we're going into our own bubble. So cross-functional collaboration is something that should be a non-negotiable principle and should not be changing. Right? The third one is incremental value delivery. So more artifacts per sprint is not the goal. That's not the definition of success. Is how are we also delivering something that matters to the people, to the customer, to the end user, whoever that person is consuming the value of what we're delivering. That is it. Because when AI accelerates execution, right, Agile should definitely be protecting the relevance. And it's not a competition around execution versus relevance. It's actually a partnership and it's a collaboration. So these are the 3 key things I want to highlight here that definitely should not change. And so when we think about even on our sprints, 3 questions we should be asking. I know I've been giving you 3 things to take back, 4 things to take back, because we are the agents of change. We are the change agents here, right? We are the ones who have to go back into our teams and really look at how things are going and ask these hard questions. And not just ask the hard questions, but also coach them into what next looks like. So I want to leave you here with something that I believe that you can actually just take back to work, to your team, to your organization, to your leaders on Monday morning. And this is not a new framework. This is not a new acronym. This is not anything new. But you can definitely run this probably through your retrospective. You can put it in your virtual wall, something that is literally at the front of everyone's mind as they go in to do their work, as they come together is number one, what value did we actually deliver? We're not talking about what was shipped. We're not talking about, what looks great, what excites the developers or the team, is what changed for the customer because of what we did. What value did we actually deliver? And how are we even measuring that value? Because value means different things to different people. I've been in teams where, the engineers are so excited about something they want to add. The product manager is like, this is not what the customer asks for. And engineers really believe that this is what will make the customer happy. But there's nowhere in the customer report or interviews or feedback that it says that they want that. So what value did we actually deliver? And everyone has to determine within the team whose value measurement or whose value feedback is actually priority. Because you can think about it, leaders can have their own value metric, engineers can have their own value metric, PMs can have their own value metric, the agiles can have their own value metric. Whose value metric is important here? Number one. Number two, what did AI accelerate? Right? Because if we can't name it specifically, guess what? Then we don't know where our leverage is coming from. We're just doing things haphazardly. And that will lead to technical debt down the line and just so much, effort being given now, but we can't measure. We can't measure. What you can't measure, you can't grow. So what is AI accelerating in our delivery pipeline, right? Where is our leverage coming from? What tools are we using? How are we collapsing time? And how is time giving back to us to do other things that also add value to our pipeline? What also is AI accelerating that we can scale to other teams and other organizations and see, making sure that we're not repeating something that's already been developed or, through a hackathon or through an innovation sprint by another team. Because I see this happen all the time. People are creating the same solution for the same problem, but they're not aware because no one is talking to one another. So identify within the team, what is AI accelerating, right? Then this one is very important. Number three is what still required human judgment. This is the most valuable sign here. Because this is the place where we say this is what AI could not do alone, right? This is almost like the IP of the team that needs to be protected and needs to be invested in. What still required human judgment? Now, just because it requires human judgment doesn't necessarily mean that AI cannot come into that flow. It could also be a room for, well, can we leverage AI as well, any of the AI platforms to collapse time here? Or is this something that is so unique to the team that we have to protect it, we have to invest in it, we have to amplify it? These are the three questions. At the end of every sprint, run this through your retrospective. You begin to identify patterns and you begin to identify things, right, that makes the team be better and continue to leverage AI as a collaborator. And now these three questions, I would say at the end of every sprint, will keep the team honest, sprint after sprint after sprint. And as I wrap up right now, I want to say this. AI will continue to accelerate how work will get produced. That is real. Anyone who's still asking about should we use AI is so late to the conversation. It's so late, right? Because it's not slowing down. It's already here. And this is not to add pressure to anyone or to give anyone any form of anxiety or to get anyone frightened. It's really to be excited for what is possible. Agility shifted the game. AI is here as well to do likewise, but both working together, I think, to me, is the superpower that we do have right now. Agile will continue to remain very essential for how work is done, right? For it literally is the foundation, right, in discovering what work is actually also worth doing. That's agility, right? And AI has given us that capacity. And so it's not a conflict of one versus the other. It's a combination, it's a collaboration, it's two of these things working together. And in this world that we live in right now, where people can build things faster than ever before, people can ship out things faster than ever before, people are vibe coding apps left, right, and center, right? Direction is way more important now in this era than before. Way more important. So the question for every leader on the score, every coach, scrum master, depending on what hat you're wearing right now, is the system again that AI is entering, right? Is it healthy enough to handle the amplification that is about to happen? And that is the work, that is the leadership work. It's not a tool work, right? It's not another technology work. It's the system AI that AI just entered right now. Is it healthy enough and what are the opportunities for growth in this system? Again, it's a leadership work, it's a you and I work, and I know that we are definitely up to the challenge. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. Very inspiring. Thank you so much. And yes, we have one question and 1 minute for the answer. So, um, question to Stella. I hope you can hear me. If not, Stella, you can stop your sharing and
Absolutely, let me do that.
read the comment directly just to be more easier
Yeah.
for.
Okay. Did you want me to answer it or you want me to answer in the chat?
We have 1 minute, so
Okay.
let's try.
Yes. So I see, I agree with your point around value versus speed. Just wondering, isn't speed in operational environment something that inherently delivers value, whether immediately or down the line, even if its impact isn't obvious? Yes. So speed, but at the point, I think at the point in time, we have to determine if what risk are we willing to take in terms of speed, right? Because we can keep going quickly in the wrong direction. So if we are all in agreement as to what value truly means, whether we move fast or whether we move slow, it doesn't really matter. So yes, speed is required to deliver value, but we have to understand what does value mean, because we're all moving in the wrong direction, even if it's quick. And those are hard conversations that needs to be had, right? Because you might put something wonderful in the hand of the customer quickly, but yet it might regress the team months back or years back. And so I would definitely keep more on value versus speed, where value should definitely be primary, but that doesn't neglect the importance of speed as well. Thank you, Anna. I think that
Thank
was
you.
all that I had. Yes, I'll keep an eye out for the chat and answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. Very inspiring. And we already see that the people are a little afraid about what AI means in our work, let's say, on our roles. But very